This is Independence, Mississippi. We're driving from my parents' house to my grandparents' house. This is the farm that I was raised on. It's amazing to me how small it seems now and how large it seemed then when you're a child. Well, it started with my grandfather. He and my grandmother, the Walker family, started the dairy farm and the row crop farming. Growing up, my life just revolved around athletics and the farm. You looked forward to playing those summer baseball games to get out of some work, maybe, but you had to get the work done before you went and did that.
It was an endless process with the cows. Fencing had to be done, milking had to be done, feeding had to be done, and then you go to the field and work the rest of the day. It's a good way to live, but it's a difficult way to live.
It's still home. I mean, my grandparents' house was where everything, it was the central location of everything, whether you're doing field work, dairy work, Christmas, Thanksgiving, the entire family would always congregate here. My nanny and papa was home. They are, I mean, we're really the legends of this community in my eyes. You know, my papa was my hero, and this is where he would sit. This is you know, probably a typical farm home, I think. I mean, it's tiny but filled with love. That's Nanny and Pop. He was the most consistent man I ever was around. Hang on a minute. He was generous, loving, grace-filled. You know, his love was never in doubt. You know, after Nanny's death, Pop just really wanted to stay in bed, and I'd never seen him like that. Mama called me one day and asked if she thought I might be the one that could get him out of the bed. I really thought I could, but I couldn't. He was just, once he lost Nanny, he was ready to go. Really, my two options were coaching or farming. And I knew after milking cows and working in the fields, particularly for my high school days, I knew I did not want to do that, so really coaching was left. But this is where every morning at 4 a.m. I'm up and going to get the cows to bring them to the milk barn.
He always told us it would, you know, he did not want to milk cows the rest of his life. My husband coached. He ran around with him, whether there's a water boy or whatever he could do.
That staff that my dad was on would typically meet before school or on Sunday afternoons, and I was always sitting in there. I remember vividly the 16mm film clicking and me sitting there watching and cutting the 16mm tape and taping it on the wall, you know, of the old way you used to do cut-ups. This is the old field house. It's obviously not open anymore, but this is where I really started watching film with my dad in this building here. If I didn't have work to do at the farm, I was going to be on the practice field with him. You know, on Friday nights at this place, you don't believe it now, but it was packed. And you know, this is really where I started playing and falling in love with the game of football, was on this field and in that field house. You know, we're in this community, and my dad and the other coaches, they had to go and drive their trucks around on Mays Road and other roads and pick up our teammates or their players. And I just thought that was the neatest thing, that, man, coaches are, it's a pretty neat profession.
I am so excited to announce that Hugh Freeze is the next head football coach of the Ole Miss Rebels.
Since his first day on the job, Freeze has preached a consistent message of faith, family, and love.
Family will be a huge thing to us because I understand the Ole Miss people and the love that you have for this university, the love you have for each other. Here's how we'll define love. Love is the ability to handle the inconveniences that come with our relationships. There'll be some inconveniences. Man, you come from all different walks, all different places. I'm a Mississippi boy. I understand how most of you were raised. I was raised on a little farm and had very little, but I had parents who loved me. And we're going to love one another, and it'll change our lives. It'll change this team. It'll change this place. It'll change our fans' mindset. It'll change it all. But we got to choose to love.
I could tell within the first week or so that it's different.
He said, Matt, your one job is to capture the hearts and minds of your players. I think he takes care of family first and the scoreboard follows.
When he tells people that he will not be defined by wins and losses, that's the truth. He really believes that in his heart, that his calling is to lead these young men, and that 20 years down the road that they call back and say, Coach, you know, I just got married, had a kid, whatever it is, and they want to share life with him.
This is a man who actually cares about his players and wants to do things the right way.
With that, I have an accountability and a responsibility to Isaac Gross. You know what my responsibility is to him? You're going to say, coach him in football. I don't see it that way. That's a very small part. Here's my responsibility. Here's my job. My job is to speak truth into his life. It may be about football one day. It may be about something else the next day. So y'all committed, or? What about this? What about committed to beliefs, behavior? Is your performance and gets you the results?
100%. 100%. Yes, sir.
I love y'all.
Love
It'll be a fun year. Gosh, the role that you have an opportunity to play in a player's life is so important. And there's many now that don't have a father figure, and they watch how you interact with your wife, and our staff interacts with their kids. And you're hopeful that you can set an example that, 20 years from now, they'll want to emulate.
Just see him have his kids here all the time and just running around playing, just, interacting with us, man, it means a lot. I look at it like, man, I like to do something like that with my family.
I think he's just a great coach, great father, a man of faith, and a man with a great family and supporting cast. And I'm glad he has the type of people around him, because that's the type of people he's looking for in his players. And it reflects down to us in the way he coaches and teaches and talks.
You actually get a visual of what it's like to be a father instead of hearing it all the time. Everybody doesn't see that, everybody doesn't grow up that way. People grow up different, people raise their kids different.
You can see that he's trying to show us the right way to balance work and family values, and having spending much time with your kids and everything like that, and your wives. And it's kind of nice. It's just a real family environment. Everybody gets along, everybody knows everybody.
Some schools in rivalry games choose to play it out of hatred for the other school. That's not who we are. Here's why we will win the game tonight. Because you're going to play for love from one another. Not hatred for somebody else. You're going to play out of love for one another. Because the guy from Tennessee in here understands what it's like for the guy in Mississippi here. This is why we came here. This is why I came here. This is why you chose to come here, to set a new standard of what the college football world can be. And we've proven it can be that here. Today's just another opportunity. That's all it is. I really believe we are our best attribute as a staff is that we are relational coaches. I think that's a bit different, maybe new and fresh than some. If that's really our niche, and we really want the time that we spend with the kids that are entrusted to us and that families have chose to come to our place, if we really want to impact, we have to be intentional. And I think the first step to that is, making sure you capture their hearts and minds. Particularly their hearts first. The mind is a little harder because everything life throws at you, it plays games with your mind. And I still fight that. You do, everyone does. But you capture their heart, and they know you're on their side and in the foxhole with them and in this for the long haul, good, bad, ugly, that we're handcuffed together, doing life together. You got a chance now.
I really think that he's a mentor for life. In this profession, it is rare for somebody to be so caring about the families and the players and everyone involved in it. To have that much time and to be so selfless, I think is rare at a position of that high power. I think that's what separates him from a lot of coaches. We always say to the players, you know, we've been 21, you haven't been 33, 34, 40, whatever it is. And those are things that, especially coming from somebody who has daughters and a wife at home and then obviously in the same profession, you know, the friendship there is very rare for your boss to be able to call a friend and know that he has your back at all times.
Of course, we want to win games, but he understands that life is bigger than the scoreboard on football, and he's going to fight and battle for these kids every second of the day.
Really, when life is all over, it doesn't depend on how many wins you got. It depends on how many lives you've touched.
I don't think the kids that played for me, when they come to my funeral one day, I don't think they're going to talk a lot about the wins and losses. I do think they'll talk about the relationship we had and that it hopefully is very lasting.